Alright, what's going on, guys? Today's project is going to be dropping the subframe, rear subframe of the E38, so that way I can raise the subframe and raise the diff as well, so I can go a little bit lower. So I actually had the car like fully dumped, like on the floor, frame rails on the floor, but driving the car, the rear diff is just too low. So I'm just constantly dragging the diff, so I figured you know, I'm gonna have to raise it at some point, so I might as well just get to doing that now. So I raised the car up just so I can move it, and then I'm just real quick gonna drive it in front of my house, just load up the trunk with tools, just because I'm so lazy. I don't feel like you know, dragging all my stuff over here. All right, we'll get a little cold start here. This thing does not want to start up. All right, got the car in front of the house. Just gonna fill up the trunk with my second jack, dolly, a whole bunch of other things I'm gonna need, because the cars are in the corner over there and I just don't feel like walking stuff from the garage all the way out here. All right, car's back in the corner, just unloading the stuff out now, and then I'm gonna jack up the back and take the rear wheels off and just start disassembling everything. All right, so I'm gonna take the wheels off real quick, and then get the car on jack stands. I'm just gonna take the rear bumper off and then jack it from the subframe mounts, and then get on jack stands, wheels off, and then I'll pick up the camera again once I'm done with that. All right, car's up, wheels are off. Now I just have to unbolt the calipers, take off this lower bolt for the coils, disconnect the drive shaft, and then get the parking brake cables out. You can see here's the state of the diff right now. This is really why I want to raise the subframe. The actual lowers themselves sit pretty high up, but the diff itself is literally on the floor. So raising the subframe and raising the diff so that I can drive this thing just, you know, literally without a care in the world. At the moment, I got a fuel cell here. Line goes above the subframe, and I also raised the brake lines in the rear, made new ones. All of this stuff used to run under the car. Now it goes through the trans tunnel, so I don't have to worry about dragging through any of that stuff. And not too bad down here. I mean, barely driven the car, probably like 20 miles this low. And then this started happening, so I figured I might as well fix this before it becomes a bigger issue. So I'm gonna get to removing all of this stuff, and then I'll get back to you when it's time to get to these bolts here that actually hold the subframe itself in. All right, so in theory now I have everything out, both calipers dangling, coils are disconnected, got all the bolts off the drive shaft, parking brake cables out. So it should just be get bolts off of here with the jack under the diff, and then just slowly lower it down, and should be good. So I'll get back to you when we're there. So in theory, when I lower this jack, the subframe should come down. All right, it was kind of a pain in the ass, but subframe is now on the dolly, and it's time to go roll it back over to the house. All right, this thing is pretty big, so I don't really know where I'm gonna put it in the garage, but it's gonna end up in there. And then just got nothing down here, so that's fun. And then the one thing I'm gonna have to do is actually lower the car down, like take the jack stands out and lower the car down, put it on the floor, and then just like have the wheels in there, so that way it looks like the car isn't on jack stands, just because the HOA is gonna complain. So if I do that, it's just gonna look like the car's normal on the ground, and then we shouldn't get in trouble for that, so that's cool. Looks kind of crazy walking up to this thing like this, but now just gotta lower it back onto the ground, put everything kind of in a position where it looks like the car was driven recently, and then call it a day. Alright, bro, not gonna lie, this is the best idea I've ever had, because like just at a quick glance, it's just a car on all four wheels chilling. so everybody's gonna drive by, they're not gonna think much of it. But it's actually sitting on jack stands. These wheels are just here. It's been crazy though. But yeah, so subframe to the garage. Car's just gonna sit here like this until I get everything back in. Okay, so in theory, what we're gonna do to raise the subframe is just cut the top of the actual mounting points down to like kind of lined up with here. So just all of this material that's up here is just gonna be gone. So that way when we put the subframe back up, it'll go up however much this is higher. All right, so I've done a few of them so far. I just have the last one over there, but pretty much what I was doing is just, there's that little piece that goes up there and then down here, and I just cut these off with a Sawzall. So pretty much however thick this is how much higher the subframe is gonna sit. So hopefully this, maybe I'll shave it down a little bit more up here. I'll have to shave it to make everything flat, but I'm hoping that this amount is enough to get the diff off the floor enough so that I don't have to take the diff out and actually make new bushings to raise it. Along with cutting the subframe, I got shorter bolts. Probably have to get somehow shorten them a little bit more, maybe with a couple washers on this end. But shorter bolts, since I cut about that much out, I'm thinking that should work, something like that. But we'll see. It's getting dark out, so I'm probably just gonna cut the last bushing and then probably call it a night, and then just get back to it tomorrow morning. All right, so here's the subframe with all the mounts cut. This is where I'm gonna leave it off for tonight. Just need to make sure all of these are nice and smooth. So I'll just hit those with the angle grinder real quick tomorrow, get everything flat, and then we'll go about installing it into the car after that. The one thing I'm slightly worried about is the actual clearance on the top. The one other person that has done this, Sam or E38 Hate Club, he actually has notches in his frame to fit the actual subframe in, and I don't know if I'm gonna have to do that because he raised his more than I'm raising mine. So I'm gonna try and see if I can get away with not cutting anything else into the trunk or the frame or anything, but if I have to, then you know I'm gonna have to do it. So I just wrapped up all 4 of them just like real quick, just everything kind of skimmed over the top just to get rid of, you know, a little bit of the extra rubber material or whatever. But I'm gonna go roll it back over to the car and then try and mount it up and see how it goes. All right, subframe is back at the car. Time to just, you know, lift everything up, get it off the jack stands, and then get started with putting this back in and hoping that it fits. It was actually quite a pain to get the car back on jack stands now because I couldn't like pivot it on anything, but it's up finally. So now just time to roll this back under there and then lift this up and hope, fingers crossed, that it works. All right, it's rolled back into position now. I just need to figure out how to get it off of the dolly and onto a jack where I can then lift up the whole thing. All right, subframe is now bolted up on all 4s. Clearance wise, it's getting pretty close to the top. I don't really know how I can get this in here. There's still more room up here in the middle, so I definitely could go all the way down to here, but I'm definitely gonna have to notch this part here for the arms themselves if I do that. So it's good to know that I have more room, but for the moment, I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. So it's time to start getting all the stuff back in, drive shaft, calipers, put the wheels on, and then we should be done. All right. Everything is now reattached. Drive shafts in, brakes are on, coils are attached. So everything's good now. I just have to put the wheels back on the car, lower it, and then adjust the coilovers down as well, back to where they used to be, because I had to raise it up a bunch. And then lower it down and see how the diff is sitting. All right, wheels are on. It's just time to lower the car down, get it off the jack stands, and we'll see how it's sitting. All right, so this is where we're at for right now. I still have to adjust the height more because it's higher than it started out. But the diff is sitting pretty high up, which is nice. So just need to keep tweaking everything, lower the front more because I raised that. But I'm starving right now, so I'm just gonna put everything in the trunk, then eat something real quick, and then probably mess with it after. All right, so it definitely looks like I'm gonna have to notch the frame a little bit because toe arm is hitting. All right, so I adjusted the height a little bit, lowered the front, which in turn also lowered the back. This is kind of what we're working with on the front for right now. Here's the rear. It's pretty decent height. Diff itself is way higher up now. I feel like this is actually drivable, so that's cool. Can finally take this car places and don't have to just let it sit because I'm worried about that going through. Floors a little bit low. I still got to adjust the right side so the right side's up, but this isn't too bad. Like, this is driving so much better than before. Like, before, anytime there was literally anything, like, there didn't even have to be anything in the road. It was just frame rails just dragging on the ground. The rear was just dragging. Like, right now, it's pretty calm. It's like only really hitting if there's like a raised portion of the road, but like that'll clear itself away over time. So it's definitely drivable now. Yeah, seems like subframe raise was successful. We'll see how it lasts over time, but I mean, for right now, car feels pretty good. I mean, as good as a car that's this low is gonna ever feel. But yeah, that's pretty much it.